Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans, and we have our Week 14 review coming right up. And it's funny. This was a bad week for me for a lot of reasons.
And a good week for me.
And a good week for you. Although did either of our pick'ems do well? I don't think our pick'ems did well. But at least for you, your team won, which that's got to outweigh the pick'ems.
I went 2-2.
Did you go 2-2?
Oh no, I didn't go.
No, you went.
No, I went
1 and 3.
I picked Calgary.
Yeah, both of us picked Calgary because none of us thought that Calgary would screw the pooch so badly. But shall we get right into this?
We shall.
Okay, so the first one is the Ottawa Redblacks defeated the BC Lions. So if you were on the fence of maybe the BC Lions could play some defense, maybe they couldn't, the answer is fuck no, they can't play defense.
So this whole thing about the BC Lions playing defense, we should have looked at their previous few games and taken a look at it.
See, no. I did look at their previous few games. I just thought that they would be a little bit better because the Ottawa Redblacks aren't as good offensively as some of the other teams that they were going against. I didn't know that the suctitude would extend to them playing Ottawa. And the answer is, it did. So the BC Lions offense does fine here. They put up 33 points. But the defense, this BC Lions, I'll put it this way. This BC Lions team in the regular season and the postseason isn't going to do squat unless this defense turns it around. If they can't turn it around, it doesn't matter how many touchdowns Nathan Rourke throws. It doesn't matter how well James Butler plays, how well Justin McInnis plays. They're not going to do anything. And so, but yeah, this was a problem. And so, and Sean White missed a field goal. And do we know what was the distance on the field goal, the one he missed?
Give me a second, and I will find out.
Because I remember my brother coming to me, just going crazy because he had seen it. He was like, "Oh my God, did you see that?"
So he kicked a 39. Come on, CFL, work, please. Why does their shit have to suck so much? Oh, that's because it's by Genius Sports. Okay. I'm looking at the wrong team. Okay, I was looking at Ottawa. So White kicked at 18. A 24. That was an extra point. So I had to been in the third quarter, which I have to refresh this stupid thing again because Genius Sports sucks balls. Okay, so it was 2-point interception. So it was in the fourth quarter then. 46.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw that. I was pretty sure it was something like that because when I saw that, I was talking to Zach and I said, Zach, this is a field goal that is that's over 45 yards. This is new territory for Sean White.
Keep in mind it was pouring down raining though.
That's fair. But there is that. So with that, yeah, it's funny. It's just crazy to see that the Red Blacks were the only team in any of these quarters to put up no points. They got 0 in the first quarter, but they went into that fourth quarter down. Let me see here. It was 27-16, and they come back. The crumback happens.
The crumback.
18 points in the fourth quarter. Dustin Crum with a very good game, honestly. 24 for 32, 301 passing yards, and 1 touchdown. It's funny. It's one of those things where Dustin Crum, if he played consistently like this, Dustin Crum could seriously be a starter. If he always played like this, if he always had those kind of numbers, because his running game, like, he's a very mobile quarterback. His running game is a lot better than a lot of quarterbacks in this league, and that's something that can be very, very appealing. He got two rushing touchdowns. He got 8 rushes for 69 yards for an average of 8.6. That's awesome. He got 1 touchdown. He didn't throw any picks. Like, this was a very good game for Dustin Crum. So, good on him. And so, and it's going to be interesting because this was a discussion I was having as part of the discussion that I was having with Connor and later on, is that the CFL, in the next 5 years, there's going to be a big change in the CFL with a lot of these older quarterbacks. I'm looking at Zach Collaros. I'm looking at Trevor Harris. I'm looking at guys like Cody Fajardo. Guys are going to be retiring. It's just going to be it's going to be happening. And there's a big possibility a guy like Chad Kelly, if he finds that spot, Nick Arbuckle might need somewhere else. And he's, I think, proven himself as a starter. Or if the Argos, in any case, decide to not have Chad Kelly be that guy, I don't see any other team picking him up. Guys like Bo Levi Mitchell will eventually be on their way out, although Calgary thought that years ago, and he's still kicking it. So we'll have to see. But in the next 5 years, there's going to be a big change. I'm curious to see if a guy like Dustin Crum,
for
maybe.
sure, there's going to be a big change.
Well, I'm just curious to see if a guy like Dustin Crum could potentially get an opportunity somewhere. We'll see.
There was actually
he's one of the better backups, I will say. He's not perfect, but he has a win this year against both Calgary and BC, and the Calgary one's probably the impressive one.
There was a guy on X. I'm sure you know him because he's a Bomber fan. Zach, what is it, Schweitzer?
Zach Schweitzer. So he's affiliated with. He's done some stuff with Bonfire Sports. I believe he did some internship stuff there, kind of similar to the stuff my brother's done. And he's also done some stuff with Winnipeg Sports Talk.
I seen a post the other day. He's like, if
Schnitzer,
Zach Clares doesn't come back, he's like, Bombers would be smart if they were to contact Ticats and try to get Taylor Powell. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, if Taylor Powell waits, because Bo probably has this year and 1 more year, if that, and then he's done. I'm like, he could go. Yeah,
I mean, he's on a similar route as Zach Collaros, if Zach Collaros even returns, which we'll get to that.
Trevor Harris, if they win this year, he's retiring. I think with Lawler signing a 2-year deal, I think if Ticats don't win it this year, he'll come back for 1 more year.
Bo Levi Mitchell.
But yeah, that's up to debate if Bo comes back or not. So I mean, it all depends on if Powell wants to go try his hand somewhere else, or if he wants to stay with the team and just say, you know what, I'll just play it out and just wait and see what happens. Who knows? But with that being said, with this BC loss, makes everyone else in the East super happy, which we will dig in the preview later on this week. But
yes, we will.
Are you ready for the next game?
The next game of the week, which was
Game 1 of Super Saturday.
The Hamilton Tiger-Cats with the 26-9 victory over the Montreal Alouettes. So this puts the Ticats in a stronger position in first place in the East with a 7-5 record. They're doing pretty well. Wow. I'm looking at the records here, and it's so interesting. If we're going to potentially see
plenty of things that I see in this game on both sides.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the obvious first on the Montreal side. Pardon my French. What the fuck was Jason Moss thinking When you have a quarterback that has 22 yards of passing in the first half, you put in Cameron Dukes for one round of plays, and then you take him out and put the jerk that was playing like garbage at the beginning back in the game.
Yeah.
Like the guy.
And do you want to know the hilarious thing? Cameron Dukes on his one play he went in, it was a completion.
Yeah,
like it's not even like Cameron Dukes went in and threw the worst pass they'd ever seen in their lives.
Wait. You got to include one of them was also a sack too, because he was sacked.
Oh yeah,
but that's besides the point.
But that's not on him. That's on the big boys in front of him.
No. I get that. But how can you sell a team to your fans to make the playoffs if you're playing James freaking Morgan? I'm sure Shea Patterson, Cameron Dukes, Mama Dukes could have done a lot better.
Yeah, no, they it's clear. I don't know. Has Shea Patterson not be doing is Shea Patterson not doing his homework? Is that what it is? Did he go to coach and he'd be like, I don't know.
Third string.
No, but what I'm saying is like for the only reason I can think that Shea Patterson hasn't played yet is that he hasn't done his homework and learned the playbook. That's the only reason that he could not be playing. Because he was fine with Saskatchewan when he played last year.
You had Austin Mack back. You had Tyson Philpott back. Mack went 3 for 4 for 45 yards.
Yeah.
Tyson Philpott went 4 for 8 for 34.
Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, if you're Montreal, it's like you got the guns back. You gotta start shooting.
Oh, and then
the unfortunate thing is that this Alouettes team just they desperately need Davis Alexander, Austin Mack, and Tyson Philpott to all be healthy at the same time. That's what they need.
Or just a different starting quarterback.
Well,
not named James.
Well,
Morgan.
It's just they've just been littered with injuries that they just need guys to get healthy, and so Mack and Philpott have gotten healthy. Like, yeah, I mean, you could play Shea Patterson and he'd probably do better than James Morgan is now, but most teams, even with injuries, have been able to have guys come back, and Davis Alexander's been out for a while.
Cameron Dukes last year when friggin'
he played okay.
Chad Kelly was suspended. He went 5-4. I'm sure Cameron Dukes could have got you.
To be fair, that Argos team was a lot better than they are now.
But
he was a part of that. That's true. That is true.
Mack. Yep. Listen, I will take Mack, Philpott, Rambo, Speaker, and Snead over that Argos team any day of the week.
Yeah.
On their offense.
It's funny, unironically, with the Ticats, Bo Levi Mitchell has actually, like, statistically a similar game as James Morgan goes 17 for 27. But hear me out. James Morgan goes 17 for 27. Bo Levi Mitchell goes 19 for 28, so pretty close there. 191 passing yards for Bo Levi Mitchell, 138 for Morgan, so a bit more for Bo Levi Mitchell, but not a huge difference. And then one interception for each of them. The difference is that you're comparing the average James Morgan game to the occasional anticlimactic Bo Levi Mitchell game. What were you going to mention?
Our game actually our run game fucking showed the light of day.
Oh, yeah, no. Greg Bell was great. 156 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, an average of 7.8. He's great.
The funny thing is, I don't know if you watched any of this. Probably you didn't. The Bo Levi Mitchell rushing touchdown, that's his first rushing touchdown in over 10 years.
Oh, my God. It's like Bo Levi. It's like TSN will have like a flashback. Take a look at the last time Bo Levi Mitchell got a rushing touchdown. It's in like fucking black and white, you know.
So also, the first pass of the game was to Kenny Lawler for 48 yards. It was a long bomb. Like who would have? Like obviously we would have thought. So basically, what happened was, I think let me just look it up. I think his last name is Ento. Yeah, Ento. He had something wrong with his cleats, so they had to take him off. So they put Hamlin in what was Wesley Sutton's spot at halfback and moved Wesley Sutton to corner. And Bo's seen that, and Wesley Sutton's not a corner, so he's like, okay, I'm going to go attack this. So then he throws the pass to Kenny Lawler.
Yeah.
Fast forward a bit, they get down to the freaking 1 yard line, and what happens? Greg Bell fucking fumbles the ball on the 1 yard line. But with that being said, I will say, shout out goes to Kenny Lawler because he's now set a career high in touchdowns and reception yards in his career.
Oh, yeah.
And I found out his brother plays in college football. He's a corner down in the States.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what his brother's future is if he comes a calling.
Yeah. Is there anything else we got?
I mean, a couple of sacks and interception. Legio kicking a couple of 48-yard field goals. Other than that, nothing really.
And shall we get to the next one here, which I'm going to have a lot of opinions on.
We will get to the Banjo Bowl. Before we get into this, I have a question for you because I've seen this across a lot of Rider fans on social media. Do Bombers not hand out the Banjo Bowl trophy?
I'm going to be honest. I actually don't know.
No. Okay.
Here's my thing. I didn't see it, but then again, I also haven't seen it in years Winnipeg has won. Not saying they don't do it, and the reason I'm just saying I personally haven't seen it.
No,
and the reason is that when the game is done, if you don't try to leave the stadium right away, good luck leaving with all that traffic. It's already bad as is running to the car and then getting in and sitting in traffic. You're going to be so much further behind if you stay for a good 20, 30 minutes.
That's why
I don't know if they did hand out. I don't know if they did hand out the trophy. I will say if they did not hand out the trophy, I don't like that. Like I'm of the mindset that the trophy, as a Bomber fan, the trophy should always be handed out. Even if Saskatchewan wins it, they earn that then in that instance. As much as I don't like Saskatchewan, that's fair. You know what I mean? In the same way that if the Bombers had won the Stampede Bowl this year, that trophy should be out there for the Bombers. So I don't know if... So I did hear stuff about this. So I'm going to assume based on what I've heard that they did not hand the trophy out because I've heard a lot of people saying it. Again, I don't have any proof. I had left already.
There was memes out there that there was Banjo Bowls on the side of a milk carton. If you've seen it, please call missing persons. So then I made up the joke, and I don't know, I shouldn't be saying this, but I'll say it anyways.
Uh-oh.
I made up the joke where I'm like, well, Bombers can't afford to award the Banjo Bowl because they have to pay for Caleris's medical bills with all of his injuries this year. But
yeah, so there's a lot to talk about this game. I'm going to start with the smaller things, and then we're eventually going to get to the big one. This is the first game this year where I can confidently say that Sergio Castillo had a bit of a rough night. There were 2 kicks that he missed. Now, credit where credit is due. The weather was shit. It like in the sense that there was a lot of wind in that building, and it wasn't going one way or the other. It was going all over the place. However, I still expect Castillo to make at least one of those kicks. Now, I will say he doesn't miss a convert. That honor goes to Brett Lothar, the 2 weeks straight convert missing. I do find it kind of crazy how the Bombers can sometimes the Bombers can win games because of Sergio Castillo, and the Riders can win games in spite of Brett Lothar. But Brett Lothar was mostly fine, minus him missing the simple convert. Unironically, I actually liked that Brady Oliveira got a lot more rushes this game. Even though his average was a little bit lower than I was wanting. It's better than having him sit on the sidelines and just it being the most predictable bullshit ever. Zach Caleros throws 2 picks, which at least one of them is basically like an arm punt. So, I mean, I don't really think much of that. We're gonna get to the injury. We'll get to the injury. Ontario Wilson plays very well. Rick, what did you think of Ontario Wilson's performance? Rick?
You keep talking.
Oh, are you trying to get your headset working?
Yeah, give me 1 second. You keep
okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I didn't realize his headset stopped working. But I thought that the Bombers' D-line did a lot better. They did a lot better of a job stopping the rushing game of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I thought AJ Ouellette was not able to be as much of a threat. I thought Tommy Stevens did very, very well in short yardage for Saskatchewan. It was actually a very good game as well for Joe Rubistelli of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Trevor Harris had a fine game, but I mean, he only threw one pick and he threw no touchdowns, and his completion percentage was not great. But he was able to at least do enough. Brett Lothar, unironically, field goal wise was very good, but misses the convert, which is not really as much of a big deal because it's only 1 point as opposed to field goals that are 3 points, but it's just more embarrassing than anything, as that is kind of your gimme play. But I thought that Jamison Sheehan, punt-wise, looked very, very good. It's funny, Michael Griffin defensively played pretty well for the Bombers, as well as Tony Jones. Tony Jones had a knockdown, as well as I think Willie Jefferson had 2, I believe. Defensively, the Bombers were fine. Offensively is where we start to run into some issues. Now, as much as there are those issues, one thing I will say, Rick, and I just want to get your genuine opinion on this, is I in the preview, we had talked about the comparison of Ontario Wilson returning versus Ajo returning. And here's my thing. Can I safely say that Ontario Wilson is the man? Ontario Wilson has made a much bigger impact in returning to the CFL than Ajo has. Ajo had 7 receptions for 7 yards. He averaged 1 yard. Whereas Ontario Wilson with 5 receptions got 89 yards and a touchdown.
I mean, you're kind of, in a nutshell, you're kind of debating apples to oranges, because on the Wilson side, he's a number 2 receiver. You could potentially say he's battling Dembski for the number 1. Whereas on the Saskatchewan side of things, you have Keyshawn Johnson and Mayers. Okay, and Robicelli.
Okay, here, let me rephrase it this way, Rick. Gun to your head, you have to pick Ontario Wilson or Ajo to put on your roster. Who are you putting on?
Oh, probably Ontario Wilson.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't fucking take you it didn't take you too long to think about that one, did you?
I mean, if you put Ajo on the Bombers, he would do well too.
Yeah, because Zach Collaros is throwing to him. Zach Collaros is beautiful.
Well, no, it's just Wilson's more. What I would like to point out, a couple of things. You guys got your somewhat running game going.
Yeah, I was glad that he gave the running game a chance.
But at the same time, outside of Dembski and Wilson, where the fuck is the rest of the receiving group?
Yeah, well, that's another issue.
Like, you had 2 people with 80 yards, and the next one is Oliver with 19.
Yeah, no, it drops off, certainly. It wasn't the offense. The offense struggled, and but there's that one moment of the game that was, I believe, during the third quarter, when any hope of the offense putting up production kind of died. And I have a very interesting opinion on this. Now, I want to actually put out a correction for anyone who watched my video on the Nolan Hockey Podcast. In that video, I accidentally say that CJ Rivas hits with the crown of his helmet. I meant to say face mask. Simple. Just misspoke.
But crown, yeah, face, 2 different letters.
No, well, to be fair, one of them's considered targeting, and one of them's not. So, fair enough. He doesn't hit with the crown; he hits with the face mask. However, I will say, I've had some time to sit with this. I've had time to think about this hit and process this. I agree with all the people saying that this is not a Miles Brown, this is not a Garrett Marino incident where this was intent to injure, intentionally dirty play. Is this a dirty hit? Yeah, it is. Just because definitionally, a dirty hit is any hit that breaks the rules. He was punished with roughing the he was given roughing the passer. Now you can debate how dirty something is, whether it's a little dirty or very, very, very dirty, and that's up to your debate. But it's definitionally dirty because he's penalized for it. Now the other thing here is that the first point of contact is head on head. You can see Zach Collaros' head kind of smushed together like a sandwich before their chests impact. Do I think that CJ Rivas is intending to hit Zach Collaros in the head? No, I don't. However, my genuine opinion on this is pretty similar to John Hodge of 3 Down Nation, where he said, and this is quoting from John Hodge, defensive players are allowed to hit QBs above the knee and below the neck. It's a very, I don't know if you've looked at a human body, that is a very, very big target. That's a big range. I have no idea why blitzers so often target 1 inch below the face mask. It's just asking for trouble. Put your shoulder into the abdomen, and then you're safe. It's very simple. To which someone said, you're not wrong, but that call was an incredibly soft call. To which John Hodge said, the rules are extremely clear. Any contact to the head is a penalty. Which he's right. I went in and I read the CFL rule book. And any blow that is delivered to the head is not okay. It's not under any circumstance. Now, do I believe that CJ Rivas should be like exiled from the no, nothing of the sort. And again, I don't think that this was intentional. However, dismissing this as not negligence is very misleading, because if you look at this play here, and actually there's a video I have here, I'll even just put it up just so you can see the film. Here, let me put it right here. And you see the play. At no point does CJ Rivas get blocked by anybody. Not a single person gets any, like, you see him run wide. Nobody's blocking him. So it's not like CJ Rivas gets blocked and he gets kind of held up and he has to fight past, and then he has no time to adjust and he just runs into him. In that instance, it's just a freak accident. I don't fully believe that it's just a freak. Like, I believe this is more on his negligence, in the sense of that there's no block there. He's got all the time in the world. He could walk up to him and give Zach Collaros a hug, and no one would have stopped him, Zach Collaros didn't see it coming. So it's not like Collaros could have evaded in any way. He had no clue. It was a blindside hit. And yeah, there was nobody blocking him. So if he needs to readjust to ensure he doesn't hit the helmet. And again, everyone who plays in the CFL knows that any contact to the head is a penalty. Rules extremely clear. I just think that players need to be a bit more careful. At the end of the day, the CFL and pretty much all pro football leagues out there are always going to be protective of head impact penalties, especially against quarterbacks with how vulnerable that they are. In high school, I played in my varsity years as a center on the offensive line. However, when I played junior varsity, I played as a linebacker. I have blitzed on a play, and very similar to this, as an outside linebacker, gotten around and gotten a shot on a quarterback. I'm not going to pretend I'm any expert by any means, but I'm going to tell you right now, it is not that hard to lower down 5-6 inches and be nowhere near from hitting him in the head, And so it is what it is. At the end of the day, I hope that Zach Collaros is okay. And I think this does kind of lead into a talk, and I want to know your thoughts on this, Rick, of This is now, Zach, now we haven't heard that this is in concussion. So firstly, this is definitely a head injury. There's no shot that this is a neck injury. This is a head injury. He was hit in a head-on-head hit. It was a hit. It was a hit to the head, and it injured him, and it took him out for the rest of the game. And it seems like everyone can agree on at least that part, that it was a head impact. I don't know exactly how many concussions he has, but it's around 5 or 6, I believe. Even if this isn't a concussion necessarily, which it's possible it's not, but you have to imagine that is the most likely outcome here. How dangerous, how risky is it for Zach Collaros to come back after a hit like that? And I agree with Milt Stiegel said this, and then you had a video of someone else saying this before we went live.
Yeah, it was Dwayne Ford of TSN.
And it was Dwayne Ford of TSN. And both him and Milt Stiegel said the same thing of Zach Collaros doesn't owe anyone anything. He does not owe the Bombers, does not owe the Bombers fans. He does not owe the game of football. He doesn't owe the CFL. He doesn't owe anyone anything. This guy has earned the utmost respect from everyone in the CFL. And at the end of the day, he needs to do what's best for his family and his future. And I'm not going to play doctor. I'm not going to pretend that I am able to diagnose that, he absolutely cannot come back after this. I'm not a doctor who's taking a look at his brain and seeing how it's all going. However, I am concerned. Obviously, I think everyone's concerned here. So I just hope that if Zach Collaros does decide to return, that this is something that firstly he is medically cleared for, and that medical team seriously considers all the possibilities, what he could take for a hit in the future, and really weighs the risks rewards this. And now, getting to another aspect of this, I mentioned that nobody blocked CJ Rivas on this play. That was frustrating from the standpoint of CJ Rivas had a chance to not hit him in the head. But then the other thing was nobody blocked him, and he got a blindside hit on our quarterback, and no one decided to block this guy. So, either you can decide that that's lovely play calling from Jason Hogan, leaving him so defenseless, and not with Brady Oliveira in the backfield to help out. Or, I don't know, whatever the hell you want to call this. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm very concerned for Zach Collaros. This is potentially a career-ending injury. I think that the concern that people... I don't agree with everyone's take on this. There are some people that are saying it's intentional. I don't agree with that. However, there are some people downplaying this thing that, this is a clean hit. This is no big deal. Hit to the head that's potentially a career-ending injury. Yeah, that kind of is a big deal. And I don't really like what CJ Rivas said about the hit. He said he respected Zach Collaros, and, and I like that. That's fine. But he kind of said, what am I supposed to do on this play? To which I can't believe I have to say this, but don't hit him in the head? Like... Is it that hard? I don't know if everyone's wired. Like, I must hit him in the head. I must. I don't know. Maybe that's how Tom Wilson's wired, but it is what it is. So, is there any opinion you got, Rick, on this? I'm curious, and I understand that not everyone's going to agree with my take, and if you disagree with it down below, that's fine. I'm just saying my opinion based on everything that I saw, and so it is what it is.
So my whole thing is that if Zach ever wants to walk his daughters down the aisle of their wedding, I would consider not playing anymore.
Yeah, his health has to come first. Like, again, it's one of those things where they need to seriously, you know, is it like if Zach Collaros announced that this was a career-ending injury, am I going to be upset from a sense of I'm bummed? Absolutely. You know what would bum me way more though? If Zach Collaros came back, suffered an injury so worse that it turned him into a vegetable.
True.
That would suck so much more. And so at the end of the day, if he says that this is going to be the end for me, I can't keep going, because I think all of us really, after everything that Zach Collaros has brought to this franchise, I mean, I'll put it this way: the sellouts that Winnipeg is getting this year constantly, Zach Collaros is a big part of that. Collaros has been a big part of reinvigorating the franchise in Winnipeg. And so it would be sad if he doesn't get to end his career on his terms. But at the end of the day, he's got to do what's best for him and his family.
Okay.
Full stop.
So I also have a follow-up question for you.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to sound like an asshole or
anyone, just be honest.
No. Once I say what I say, people are going to think I'm an asshole.
Okay.
So let's say hypothetically he does go and retire.
Okay.
What the hell is the organization going to do? Because they're also hosting the Grey Cup this year. I can tell you right now, Streva ain't going to get you guys fucking anywhere near the fucking playoffs. Because you guys won one game with him this year.
Yeah.
When it was week 1. Ever since Streva came in.
Well, do you want to know a fun fact?
What's the
Rick?
fun fact?
Do you know how Zach Collaros came to the Bombers?
No, I get that they're going to make a trade.
No. But because let me just break this down for you, okay? The Bombers made a trade in 2019 for Zach Collaros. Do you know why they made that trade?
Because their quarterback was going out the door at the time.
Because Matt Nichols took a big injury, which meant that they needed to make a trade for a capable quarterback to give him a chance. They got that quarterback. Like, it's funny. I will say, I do find it interesting people trashing the Bombers franchise of like, wow, they didn't prepare someone to take over his place. And I get it. I think they probably could have done a little bit better than that. But I will say, I think the Bombers have been, they've managed their franchise the best out of any franchise in the CFL in the past most recent years. The thing is that Zach Collaros was brought in on a trade because Matt Nichols was injured. Zach Collaros that year then goes to break a, what was it, 30 or 31 year, or like 34, I can't even remember exactly how many years it was. It was like a 30-year Grey Cup drought, whatever it was. Right? It might have been 29 years. I don't know. It was something in that range. It was a massive Grey Cup drought, the biggest at the time. Mm-hmm. And they broke that, making that trade that season. If Zach Collaros is truly, truly injured, and the Toronto Argonauts decide that Chad Kelly is going to be returning, if you're the Bombers, I think you look at a guy like Nick Arbuckle and you consider giving him a chance, which would be really weird considering Nick Arbuckle beat us in the Grey Cup last year. But Nick Arbuckle has earned a starting position.
So here's the whole thing that I have with this debate. Is, okay, I get that Chad Kelly's coming back, blah, blah, blah. No, any fan that says that Nick Arbuckle should be starting, Chad Kelly's coming back and just get over it. The thing is, Chad Kelly has not played a full game. Chad Kelly has not thrown a ball. So what is Chad Kelly going to be like?
Well, and here's my thing. Nick Arbuckle went 33 for 40, 352 passing yards, 3 touchdowns with no interceptions last game. Like, Nick Arbuckle has worked his ass to earn the starting spot. He's earned it. Like, it's one of those things where when Like when you get injured for that long and you come back, like actually, I'll give you a great example, Rick. If you look at the Bombers, Peyton Logan had that returner spot when this season was about to start, but like before he got injured in training camp. He gets injured, so Trey Vavel gets a chance. Peyton Logan comes back and whatnot, but he's an afterthought. He's a bit of a secondary guy because those shoes have been filled in the time that he was injured. It's a sad truth about football is that when you get injured and you're out for a sustained period of time, if a guy goes in and fills those shoes, you lose your spot. I mean, if you look at a guy like Adam Bighill, the sad reality was that Adam Bighill, they struggled to keep him healthy. Tony Jones could stay healthy a lot more. He was putting up similar production, and he was younger. And so it's one of those things where at that point they made the decision to move away from Bighill, which I know some people don't like, but I'll put it this way. I don't think it really, like, I'll put it this way. If the Bombers had Adam Bighill playing middle linebacker instead of Tony Jones, do you think the Bombers would be in any different of a situation they are in this year? I don't think so. So, but yeah, no, I think that the Bombers may potentially need to make a trade. I will say the Bombers have been awfully quiet about this. We haven't gotten any update or nothing on Collaros yet.
So here's the other thing is, do the Bombers trade for Nick Arbuckle? And also on the same page, does Toronto trade him knowing what they may or may not have with Chad Kelly? Because remember, who is to say he's going to be coming back and being the same Chad Kelly on the field that he was before he left? There's no guarantee.
Here's my question. Does Toronto even feel that they can even get into a playoff spot with where they are at, or do they just need to trade assets and get stuff?
Well, here's the other thing, because hypothetically, if you trade Nick Arbuckle to Winnipeg, okay, Chad Kelly goes down, you now have Max Dunnigan, who was a key quarterback down in TCU when he played there, undrafted or didn't make the NFL. You have Horn, or I think his last name's Horn, and then you have Dogie. Those are not backup caliber quarterbacks. I mean, I can't say for Duggan, but the other two have no experience as a backup.
Yeah.
So either way, someone's either going to be sitting, either you sit your quarterback who's been playing lights out for you, or you're going to be sitting your top paid quarterback. Because what happens if Kelly comes back? They trade Arbuckle, Kelly comes back, he gets injured, then your season's done.
Well,
and you're that close to a playoff spot.
Are they? Because right now they're behind 3 teams in the West.
They're really behind one team in the West, and that team plays Ottawa this week. And who's to say BC's going to win? Is even going to win?
Yeah, but are they not still behind? I think they're still behind Edmonton as well, because Edmonton is now tied with BC.
BC has the tiebreaker.
BC has the tiebreaker. No, they have the tiebreaker with who?
With Edmonton.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Toronto's also behind Edmonton. Toronto's 4-8. Edmonton's 5-7.
Toronto plays Edmonton on Saturday.
Wow. Then this is going to be fun, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. I didn't want to get into the specifics because I wanted to leave it for the preview.
Fair enough.
The BC, Ottawa, and Toronto Edmonton game all have to do with that one last playoff spot.
So here's my question then. Should we finally get into the last game of the weekend?
I just want to leave on this note. Because both Ticats and Bombers both practiced twice this week, that's it. It will be interesting to see what they have on their injury report come Tuesday. If Strevler is starting on Friday, I don't know what's going to happen for your team.
Yeah, no, I'm going to put it this way. The Bomber situation is pretty bleak right now. It's not that this team can't make the playoffs, but I'm kind of like, good God, if I don't see any change at QB, like if either Strevler doesn't get his crap together, or if the Bombers don't get someone, even if this team makes playoffs, are they going to be able to do anything in it? So we'll see.
One last thing that I will leave on this Collaros thing before we move on to the Battle of Alberta. If the Bombers list anything other than concussion or head injury, they're lying to themselves. And they're hiding something. Because if they have neck or anything else other than head injury on that injury report, they're not telling the 100% truth of what his injury is.
Yeah, no, it would look suspect. No, that's fair.
But anyways, you ready to get into the Battle of Alberta?
The Battle of Alberta, where was this Edmonton last week? Where was this?
To be honest with you, I was actually who.
Do you know what show this was, Rick? I can tell you what show this was. Do you want to know what show this was?
This was the Rankin show.
This is a Justin Rankin show. 204 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, an average of 12.8, with one being a 90-yard rush. Justin Rankin was fucking brilliant in this game.
Do you want to know something crazy?
What?
If you look at both Vernon Adams' games against Edmonton on Labor Day and the one this past Saturday, he's played shit in both.
Yeah.
Because the one in Calgary on Labor Day,
he's like barely 500, yeah.
He threw for 162 yards and 1 touchdown in Labor Day. This week he throws 229 and no touchdowns. What the heck? Oh, Philip Walker was in after they decided that this game was not.
That there was nothing of value in this game. I will say, it is funny how Calgary has 6 different guys rushing this game. As Mills, Vernon Adams, Vaughn, Antwi, Walker, and Philpott all get either rushing yards or negative rushing yards.
Vaughn, I will give him credit because he's their short yardage quarterback.
That's fair.
And when they're at the goal line, he goes for a touchdown. So I'll give him that. Mills 38 yards. I'm glad I didn't take him this week.
Yeah.
But I mean, after Brooks, it's like they had no one receiving. Clark had 58 yards. Jones had 30. Philpott had 3. And I mean, even if on the Edmonton side, Fajardo didn't do fucking shit either. Pardon my French. It's you know what it is? It's the whole Tycat thing all over again. Because if you think about it, Mitchell is like Fajardo, but without the passing. Oh no, he had the passing touchdown, I believe, in our game. But he had low passing yards, whereas our running back had 156 yards rushing. Rankin had 204. So it's like the quarterback didn't have to throw 40 times.
Yeah.
And they only threw to 4 receivers.
Yeah. No, this is one of those things where literally Edmonton from like the start to finish of this game played pretty consistent as they outscored Calgary in 3 of the 4 quarters in this game. As they got a field goal and a single that they punted in the first quarter, which was probably their weakest quarter. Then the second quarter, they got 2 rushing touchdowns, both for Justin Rankin. Then there was third quarter, Blanchard makes a field goal. And then the fourth quarter, Blanchard has a field goal as well as a passing touchdown for Julian Grant. And so this is the game that Edmonton needed to play. And this was great because Edmonton, like, credit to Edmonton, that it was a packed house there. They had around 28,000 in attendance at Commonwealth Stadium. Like, that is awesome numbers. And if the Edmonton Elks can even keep like if they can hold on to like even 20,000 of that 28,000 they pulled that game, if they can consistently pull, even if they improve to like 20,000 average, That's good. That's a good improvement, and I think um, I think the CFL does better when Edmonton and Calgary are pulling larger crowds, just because Winnipeg and Saskatchewan usually always do, and then Hamilton and out east, sorry, does pretty good, and then Montreal kind of depends here and there, but they've been good as of recent. I think the CFL would be better with the Edmonton Elks pulling some crowds like this on a regular basis. So big credit to the Elks on a great atmosphere for this game, and it was an exciting one for them to watch. As even defensively, the D line, even defensively, they were able to do very well. As Barlow with a sack, as well as 2 for Kongbo and 1 for Taylor. Now, Serezna was injured. Is that correct in this game?
Serezna's on the...
Or is he already injured before going into this? I can't remember. Oh, we lost Rick. Oh, no. Where's Rick? We lost Rick. Where is he? Rick, are you there?
Hello?
We got Rick back.
Are we there?
I can hear you. You're back.
Hello?
Rick, I can hear you just
Hello?
fine.
Hello?
Oh, boy. Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. Well, no, just because, like, you're not on the screen, so I don't... That's why I'm just making sure that I hear you. Anyways, the whole...
Can you hear me, though, Rick?
Serezna thing,
I'm like texting him right now to see if he can hear me.
So Serezna was put on the 6th game on the 4th, which was... Let me just pull up my calendar. On Thursday. So the good thing about the other day was, so Nick Anderson is coming off the 6th game. So we'll see how much of an impact he has. Oh.
Here, 1 second. We're just going to set this up because he can't hear me. So I'm going to send him a new link. Just so we can get this back and rolling again. Rick, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Lovely. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I just wanted to have it set up so you can hear me. Now, continue.
Okay. Before I joined, what was the last thing you heard from me?
You're about to... I could hear you up until you left. Like, I heard everything you said.
Okay. Yeah, so Jake Serezna just got transferred on the 6th game on Thursday. Nick Anderson, during his on the panel the other day, was saying that he's just coming off the 6th game. So it'll be interesting to see if he plays Saturday or not.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it will be interesting to see how they do against Toronto. And the funny thing is, if you look at their receiving, that AJ Hilaire,
Yeah.
that was leading, he was cut from our training camp. So another person's trash is another person's gem.
Yeah. One person's trash is another person's treasure.
Oh yeah, that too.
That's the
But
one,
I mean, if you, because you don't have Dunbar. Was Dunbar placed on the same time as? No, Dunbar was on the 27th. So that means he's been on there for 2 weeks. And he still has another 4. So beginning of October. Which is ideally the trade deadline is usually the first week of October. Defense had 4 sacks. And do you know who leads them in sacks?
Who?
Jonathan Kongbo. Do you remember him?
Yes.
The Mr. I start drama in BC, so I'm going to go to Hamilton.
Yeah, this was the Twitter drama video
Yes.
that we did from
And
so
then-
long ago.
And then he decided to get cut from Hamilton. Now he's out in Edmonton.
Look at everyone just finding a new home.
But things that we do... Oh, don't even get... I honestly think that the whole Terrell Ford... Was it you that told me that everyone goes to... Oh, no, I think it was Connor. Connor, I think, told me where where everyone career goes to die. I think that's Edmonton because Terrell Ford hasn't done nothing.
Yeah, no, I think I've said this about Edmonton. Although, if Edmonton ever gets it going, then they'll have a lot of guys there. You know,
Gets it going. I mean, what more going can you get?
yeah.
I mean, okay, he has 35 defensive tackles, 1 special team, and 1 interception for a touchdown.
Yeah.
But it's not stats to write home about.
Is there anything else though?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I think that's pretty much all we got.
One thing I wanted to mention that you'll get a good joke out of this. So, if you ever want to take lessons of how to kick a flag on the goalpost in the upright, ask Paredes. Was it Paredes or was it Lothar? I thought it was Paredes.
I think it was Paredes.
The one that kicked the flag, that's the win flag that's on the goalpost. If you ever want to know how to kick that, just ask Paredes.
There you go.
Because he hit that dead on and he missed the whole post all entirely and just.
But he hit the flag.
But hit the flag. That should be
Unfortunately,
worth some type of points.
unfortunately it's not like the cones in the end zone where if you hit the cone, that's good enough.
No.
Alrighty, well, thank you guys so much for tuning into the video. We very much appreciate it. Make sure you guys leave a comment, share the video around, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure you guys give us 5 stars. We very much appreciate all your support. And make sure you tune into our preview into this next week, as we got a lot of interesting games. Firstly, we have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, which will be very interesting for me and you. Although I will say also pretty depressing for me, as we're going into this game without Zach Collaros.
Also, the Hamilton Bombers play the Winnipeg Bombers.
Yeah, exactly. The Hamilton Tie Bombers play against the Zach Collaros-less Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We lost Rick again. We lost him again. Is he back?
I'm still here.
You're still here?
Okay.
Hear. Oh, no.
Here.
And then we get the rematch between
Bombers versus the Winnipeg Bombers.
Yeah, and then we have the Ottawa Red Blacks rematch against the BC Lions, and we'll have to see if BC maybe learns how to play defense. Then there's Edmonton versus Toronto to see if Edmonton could potentially be a team either eyeing up 3rd place in the West or looking at a crossover into the East, or if Toronto is still going to be able to stay in the race. And then the Montreal Alouettes take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which that game probably doesn't go very well for Montreal. But we'll have a whole preview on that. So make sure you guys check that out in just a few days. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Peace, love, and positivity to all you wonderful people at home. And we will see you guys next time.